Inside each of us is the ability to transform, to come closer to our best selves. And inside each of us is the ability to spark change, to share the tools of change, and improve the lives of people around us. When we give, they give. Together, we create a spark that can grow and brighten an entire community. Give to Give Foundation is built on that spark. We bring the power of personal transformation to communities where this work can do the most good. We work with people who are suffering, who have experienced trauma and hurt. We are optimists, seekers, and change makers who believe that inside us is the ability to spark change and that we can help improve the world. Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Peter Boldini, Executive Director of the Give to Give Foundation. Thanks for joining us on our third online learning session. This month, we're diving deep on our work with veterans, a program that we recently named Operation Resilience. I can't wait for you to hear from some of the people whose lives have been impacted. In April, we had the honor of sponsoring 25 veterans and their families to a week-long retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza in Nashville. I had the privilege of meeting many of them firsthand. These veterans came from all walks of life, ages, and stages in their journey, and I have to say I was amazed by the difference I saw in them in just a few days. We asked the veterans for their feedback and how to improve our program even further. We heard about how this program really works for veterans because they are trained to be mission-focused. They spend years learning to put the discipline and grit to work. But often the challenges they face here at home don't have a blueprint. This work can help change that. So many of them express gratitude for the tools they learned at the week-long retreat as we map out how to change step by step. The intensive sessions help answer questions and empower real change to occur. Veterans embody so many of the values we promote at Give to Give Foundation. Each one has committed themselves personally to service. It means the world to me and my team to give back to this community and to see this program growing and touching the lives of more and more veterans and their families. I know that this work is making a lasting impact, and today you're going to hear from a couple vets whose lives have been changed from it. And with that, I will turn it over to Joshua.
Hi, my name is Joshua Whiteland, and I'm a retired United States Army infantryman. I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to talk to everybody today. I am a Give to Give scholarship recipient. My first event was last June of 2022 in Cancun. At that time, I was going, I was going with struggles with some physical injuries, but primarily post-traumatic stress disorder and some traumatic brain injury that I had endured while my service in the military. I was so blown away from my very first event. Leaving there, learning about neuroplasticity, learning about quantum physics, learning about epigenetics. I knew that the previous models that I was using for treatment, it seemed to only be treating the symptoms, and I was told that I couldn't, that there was no cure. I was told that this is basically the way I was going to have to learn some tools to cope with this for the rest of my life, and I didn't, and also to include taking various medications. And then for me, that wasn't. I thought there had to be more. That's when Give to Give showed up. I was wanting to learn more about meditation, and I went to my very first retreat. From that very first retreat, I knew instantly. I mean, I had a out of this world experience, and even in the last retreat I was in, Dr. Joe talked about it being like a positive trauma experience, and that's what it was for me. I instantly made a decision on my way home from that first event in Cancun that I was no longer going to say that anymore. I was no longer going to say, hi, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, or that I wasn't going to make excuses for my behavior. And I was going to just stop telling that story. And I was going to start being healed and living my life in that way. And since that point, I immediately knew I wanted to do this work. So right after that, there was a AFU, or advanced follow-up, in Marco Island. It was in August, and I immediately signed up for that. I meditated. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know how necessarily I was going to afford it, but I meditated, and I generated the abundance necessary, and I just knew. I didn't care how it happened. I just knew this is where I needed to be, and this is the environment that I wanted to be around. And so I immediately attended the AFU in Marco Island, and I live in Texas. So right after that, there was another advance week long in Dallas, Texas. At the same point, I started getting the inkling that I said, I want to serve this community. The first part for me was I listened to, I think veterans are going to relate a lot with that. I can follow direction. I listened to Dr. Joe to do exactly what he explained for me to do. And I took that to maximum level and put in the work there. When I had such a massive result that when I went to the AFU and then I went to Dallas another week long, I was already looking about volunteering. How can I volunteer in this community? How can I give back to this community? And how can I be of service to not only to Dr. Joe participants, but also to other veterans in that community, maybe uncertain. And it actually happened to work out beautifully. I went to Dallas. I sat in the row I was sitting in. I was a participant. I just happened to be sitting next to another guy. We started visiting. He seemed a little bit standoffish. I told him that I was a veteran. By day 3, he told me he was a veteran too. By day 4, he was absolutely having a massive experience. And that just really pushed me to feel like I want to continue this work. I want to learn everything that I can about it, and I want to take it to the veteran community. So right after that, I had finished 2 week longs and an advanced follow-up. The next event was in Colombia in January 2023, and I applied to be a volunteer. I was accepted to volunteer, and that was a whole new experience. That was that really helped me to master the work. And what I mean by master is to continue doing the meditations, continue doing the work, but at the same time being of service to the community, to the event that was roughly about 2,000 people. And mind you, if you hear my story in the beginning, I showed up to the first event with severe complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I made a decision that I was going to change the story, that I was going to do the work and apply the principles of this work into my life. So now at this point, I'm in Colombia, South America, 2,000 people, and I'm being of service, helping people. And that's an environment that I would have never been able to be in. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. From there, I met some. There's a company called NeuroChange Solutions that is it's one of Dr. Joe Dispenza's company, but it's specifically his consulting company, and they have been doing work in corporate consulting and conducting corporate change. And at this point, they are expanding into further horizons, and one of those horizons is veterans. And I thought, absolutely. I said, I would love to teach this work. This is a skill set that I have. I'm able to teach and learn and instruct. And lo and behold, in Colombia, somebody that is very involved with NeuroChange Solutions encouraged me to, as soon as I get home, to apply for that. So I came home, I applied for NeuroChange Solutions. I'm happy to say that I was selected to be trained, and I'm being trained this May. My mission is to take veterans to that program, to the program of breaking the habit of being yourself, and through the NeuroChange Solutions process. I feel that it's very significant to kind of have that work, that groundwork, and then go into a Dr. Joe week-long retreat. But my mission and my vision is to help veterans, is to do this work, to help veterans change, to help veterans heal, to help to have a completely different modality than the original treatment model as we know it. Also, right after that, the Dr. Joe's team reached out to me and asked if I could volunteer in Nashville. And I signed up, and so I said yes, and I was just in Nashville at the week-long retreat there. So I've been within 10 months. I've been to 5 events, and I had from that very first gift from Give to Give, I had no idea that within 10 months how fast my life would accelerate, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of this journey. Coming up here in May, I just launched a company to help veterans and to give back. Dr. Joe always tells us to take what we learn and whatever he'll tell us something, and he'll say, now turn to your neighbor and explain that to them. And I realized in that process that if I want to keep this, I have to give it away. And so my mission is to give it away to as many veterans as I can, and to lead the world in change in this process of veterans changing their lives. Also, and I will also coming up the next. So I have NeuroChange Solutions training in May, and the next event coming up is the week long in Denver in July. I believe it's July 2nd. I will also be volunteering there. So a lot of amazing things going on, and this program has this Dr. Joe Give to Give has absolutely changed my life, and I'm so excited. I'm just so excited to continue my journey.
Hello and welcome in. Thank you for having me involved. I'm super honored, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all. My name is Leland Holgate, and I am a combat veteran and retired quadriplegic. And of course, that means that in '99, I suffered an injury that left me paralyzed from the neck down. Couldn't feel anything under my Adam's apple. And since I am now studying to earn my double doctorate in neuroscience and psychology, and I teach a very, very special breath work that's based on ancient breath techniques as well as mixing in the knowledge of neuroscience and psychology. So at 17, I decided I was tired of being told what to do. So I joined the military, right? Perfect choice. Went off and became a load master, which meant that I loaded the plane, I took care of the weight and balance, I traveled with it. So I got to see 23 different countries in just a short amount of time in about 3 years. And I went through a lot of the special tactics training. So I did SEER, which is survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, and also POW training, or prisoner of war training. And I had it in my head that I was going to move into train to become a PJ, or pararescueman, which is our special forces side of the Air Force. I had gone through the jump training. I had my expert marksman training as well. So I was really excited to join this amazing group and become one of their snipers. And in '99, we were in Yugoslavia, and we were helping to free the people of Kosovo and Albania from the Serbs that had invaded their country and decided to do a little ethnic cleansing. So when we got back, we went on what we call R&R, or rest and relaxation. And of course, we can't do any low vis type stuff. It always has to be high rev, high adrenaline, because of course we're adrenaline junkies. So we're out and we're having fun, and getting pulled behind a really fast watercraft on the lake there in Arkansas. And the boat cut one way, and I saw it coming. I knew there was no way I was going to hold on to this inner tube being pulled behind this thing. And it slung me like a slingshot. And I skipped over the top of the water, folding like a lawn chair as far as the people on the shore had told me. And that was it. All I remember was the water coming up and then lights out. I was dead for a little over 3 minutes and 48 seconds, and they pulled me to the shore. Thankfully, they revived me. But in that moment, I had one of those near-death experiences, or NDEs, that you hear people talk about, to where I was out of my body. And I was literally looking over this man at my own self, but there were no thoughts in my head. There were no wants. There were no needs. There were no desires. There was just this isness, this peace, this being. And it felt like I had come home. Well, thankfully, the man revived me. and I woke up in the ambulance. And when I woke up in the ambulance, I woke up to this horse collar around my neck and this stinging sharp pain from the top of the horse collar really pushing into the back of the occipital lobe, that base of the back of your skull there. And the guy kept asking me, can you feel that? And I'm sitting there, and after about the third or fourth time, I was like, dude, what are you talking about? He goes, man, I've been stabbing you all over your body with this needle. Are you feeling none of that? And that is when the terror set in, the sheer terror and fear that, holy crap, I cannot feel anything below my Adam's apple. In fact, it was this really strange sensation when I swallowed, and it felt like it would disappear or that I would lose control of the ability to be able to swallow. Well, when we get to the hospital, they did the MRIs, they did all the CAT scans and all of the imaging, and they found that I had a silver dollar size contusion on C1 and C2. And of course, that shut everything down, all the way down the body. And as far as they told me, of course, this is back in 1999, you can't heal nervous tissue. You're stuck with what you've got going on here. Let's manage your expectations and manage how you're going to move forward within your life. And of course, it was very easy to settle into despair, and just self-loathing came in a big way. And for the first 2 days, I did not want to live. I actually asked friends to help take me out because there was no way I was going to live like this. I was 19 years old. My dreams, my hopes were smashed to pieces. There was no becoming a pararescueman after this. The military, of course, didn't want anything to do with me at that point in time. I was no longer useful or a viable soldier for them. So it took quite a while to realize that the military training that they had put me through prior to that was going to be a huge piece, because on that second day when the doctor's talking to me and managing my expectations, just something inside of me told me, no, there's something you can do. There's no way you have to deal with this, or you have to accept that this is your circumstance and this is your situation for the rest of your life. So I, in that moment, just blurted out loud, exploitive, absolutely not. Doc, do me a favor and just exit the room. And as I really got upset and really into this, no, this is not the way that it's going to be my life, my brachial plexus, this cluster of nerve endings and nerves that comes through your shoulders, lit up. And I had this little whoop go right up my scalene muscles. And in that moment, when I felt that sensation, that's all I needed to know. I get chills like right now when I talk about it, because obviously there's a visceral connection to that feeling. It was one of the defining moments of my life, because I realized while he's a doctor and all these people know what they're talking about, they don't know what they're talking about with my situation, even though they apparently know all this information about the body, biology and physiology. Somehow they're wrong. I'm regaining sensation in places you told me I was never or possibly never going to regain sensation. So you can imagine I dug in like a tick, and thankfully the military gave me a physical therapist. So we started on physical therapy, and in walks this military physical therapist who's also a yogi, unbeknownst to me. Had no idea. Ashtanga yogi. So he walks in and he starts talking about teaching me ancient breath techniques and yoga. And of course, if I could move my legs, I would have kicked him in the head, because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how am I going to do yoga, dude? Do you not see what I'm dealing with here? And thankfully, he imparted on me that out of everything that yoga teaches, 95% of it is all breath work, or what they call pranayama, and control of the breath. Out of 196 different sutras, which are called threads of knowledge inside of yoga, 4 of them are actually physical. 192 of them are about silencing and centering the mind and dealing with internal emotions and breath control and all of these amazing things. So he started teaching me these really cool breath techniques, some bellows breath, alternate nostril breathing. And I noticed when we got into the super hyperventilative, or what we call hypoxic state type breathing, where you lower and elevate oxygen intentionally, I started noticing all of these really amazing sensations happening, little tingles and pins and needles throughout areas of the body that I hadn't gained back yet. So that, of course, led me to dig in even further. I mean, where else was I going to go? I'm stuck in a bed or I'm stuck in a chair. So all day long, all I did was practice the breath work, practiced my yoga, the mentality, and sinking in and accepting and surrendering to my situation. And thankfully, within 2 years, I was able to limp away. And as you can tell, I am now a fully functioning and upright human being, able to walk. At the end of those 2 years, I still had some neuropathy, a little numbness, and issues in the lower extremities, of course. But over about 5 years, I got pretty much all of that feeling back until about 2017, when somebody introduced me to Dr. Joe's work. And that's the biggest part of my story is jump forward for 10 years now, better part of a decade. I've been studying neuroscience and psychology, trying to figure out the why, the how. How did I do that? I knew why I did that, but how did I do that? How did those things, something so simple as breath, how did that work for me? And now that I have dug into a lot of this research, I realize the connection between the ancient breath techniques and psychology. And somehow these cultures, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, understood that if you can control the breath, then you could control the body. You could change the state of the mind. You could change the physiological and molecular makeup of your body. And here in a moment, I'll take you through a practice so that you can experience that for yourself. But just keep in mind that even these old texts that I've read through, the Upanishads and the Tao and all of these old things talk about it. And breath has the ability to give life, and it also has the ability to take life. So one of the keys as we move through this is just allowing yourself to really breathe from the diaphragm. So that's going to be one of the biggest pieces, is breathing from the diaphragm and really exploring leaving all of these upper areas alone. Because this is typically where we all breathe from, right? We're a stressed out, distracted society. So we typically breathe from all of these neck muscles, shoulder muscles, top chest muscles, and it creates a lot of tension inside of the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe through the diaphragm, and as well as letting the belly puff. If you want to know the best way to think about it, is look at a baby. When a baby's born, if you watch them breathe, the belly rises, then the chest rises, and then they inhale all the way, and then you're going to exhale. And that's exactly what we're going to do as we move through this. So this is also a warrior's type breath, a very intentional type breath. So it's not the lazy breath that you just breathe in and out. It's going to sound a bit like this. And I want you to remember, this is all in and out through the nose. And we're going to keep our mouth closed as we do this breath. So it sounds like this. And I hope I didn't get any boogers. That's another thing. If you haven't blown your nose right now, go ahead and take a quick minute and blow it, because if you don't blow it, you're going to wear it. There's plenty of times that I have friends on my shirt when I get out of my practices. So that is what the breath sounds like. And remember, you're going to really be feeding it and pumping through this bellow that we have called your diaphragm, allowing the belly to expand, the intercostal and chest muscles to open, so you can really fill up your lungs all the way, breathe up to the top, and then exhale. Now, the other key piece is you're going to keep the inhale and the exhale even, because that stimulates the sympathetic and it also stimulates the parasympathetic nice and evenly. So that way you fall right into this nice coherent pattern. We're going to create coherent heart rate, which creates coherent brain, which then creates coherent overall body. All right. Now, the other piece as we're moving through this as well is that when I call you to hold, we're going to breathe through in and out, and you're going to keep this going nice and continual. No pauses in the breath, no matter what the body tells you. Just remember, the body's lazy, and this can be a liar sometimes. So it's up to us to be that captain of the ship and to steer where this goes. And when I call you to hold at the top, you're going to elevate your nitric oxide. Your oxygen is going to be super high and rich. Your carbon dioxide is going to lower. So it's going to help alkalinize the entire body. So you're going to really create an alkaline state. You're also, though, like I said, you're going to elevate your nitric oxide. And when we do this, you're going to feel that kind of loopy or lightheaded feeling. And it may feel a little scary if this is the first time that you've done it. Trust yourself, trust me, and just allow yourself to surrender into it. When I call you to hold, release all tension throughout the body and just let all of that happen. What's really happening is you're activating genetic expression. And in that low oxygen environment while we're holding, you're creating what's called neurogenesis. Stem cells and progenitor cells, the creation of every cell in your body, start to kick up because they need a low oxygen environment. So just trust yourself to be in this. And if you feel like when you do some of this breath work, like you do Dr. Joe's pineal breath that lights out, go ahead and place some pillows around you as well, or be in a place where you can, if you do fall over sitting down, you're not going to bump your head on something. So super, super important on that housekeeping side of things, because I do have that occasional ability to go lights out, but that's okay if that happens. That's a neurological reset. Everything inside of you is working the way that it should be. All right. So without further ado, let's take you through a little bit of an experience here. So just make your way into whatever comfortable position works for you. And at the beginning, we're going to work through a heart math technique called the inner ease technique. So you can do this at the start with your eyes open or with your eyes closed, completely up to you. And for the moment, just focus your attention on your heart. And imagine that your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. Breathing a little deeper and a little slower than usual. Inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 5, or whatever rhythm is comfortable for you, so long as the inhale and the exhale are even. Set a meaningful intent to anchor in that feeling of inner ease, to balance your mental and emotional energy. And we'll do this for another 30 seconds. Let's continue to keep the breath even on the inhale and on the exhale. And tune into that shift. Notice the forehead and jaw release. Shoulders fall away from your ears. And your hands just become heavier and heavier. Tune in and take notice of that shift and change inside of the mind, inside of the body. More centered and focused on the heart. Now moving in to the welcome home method. Stay in this space and remember, as we move through this breath, these breaths will be intentional, filling up and emptying out. Just a reminder of what that sounds like. It sounds like this. With that intention behind every breath, Slowly breathe into the top. Breathe in all the way up and hold. All the way up to the top and hold. Hold the breath. Let go of tension. Let the shoulders fall. And now through the mouth, exhale all of your air out. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Breathing with the belly. Continue to move through that breath. Breathing in and out. Keep the breath even on the inhale and the exhale. Intentionally bringing the air in and pressing that air out. Continue the breath, no pauses in between. Continue to breathe, inhale to exhale. What you're feeling is normal. You may feel tingles, continue to breathe. You may feel numbness and heat, continue to breathe. Awakening that warrior inside. This is just proof that you're activating genetic expression, shifting and changing molecular composition of the body. Continue to breathe. You're almost there. Right around the corner from that greatness inside. Right around the corner from an absolute shift of your reality and consciousness. Continue to breathe. Just a couple more, warrior. And now breathe in slowly, fill up all the way up and hold. Fill up all the way to the top, hold the breath, all the way up and hold. Hold the breath. Let go of tension. And go on that ride. Welcome home. This is where you belong. The power of the universe, right here within you. And slowly start to exhale. Let everything go. Release all tension in the body. And sink into that wave as it moves throughout the forehead and jaw. Refreshing as it moves through the neck and shoulders, the arms and hands, revitalizing as that energy moves through the chest and abdomen, traveling through the hips and legs, and into your feet and toes. Notice that connection to peace, to oneness, that connection to source, the real you. Sit in those feelings that you've created. You are the universe. The most beautiful expression of power and play. The one represented as the many. Your birthright. Here and now. Now that you've associated yourself with the real you, I invite you to go in further. Breathe deeper and with more intention, more sound behind every breath. creating that power and connection. Breathing in and out through the nose. Breathe in all the way to the top, all the way up and hold, all the way up and hold. Through the mouth, exhale all of your air out. In through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. With that sound and power behind every breath, keep the breath even on the inhale and the exhale. Notice the shift that already begins. Any lightheadedness, the tingles, that tension that starts to come forward, proof that you're cleaning the stores out of the body. Continue to breathe, shifting that energy, freeing things that have been trapped in the tissues and bones. Continue to breathe, warrior. That breath can be longer if you'd like. Just keep the breath even on the inhale and the exhale. Continue to push through. The body is not the mind. Do not let the body stop you now. Continue to breathe. We've already tried stopping too early. We've tried giving up. We have tried holding back. Push forward. Continue to breathe. Know that what you're feeling is completely normal. Continue to move forward. You're almost there. Right around the corner from that beauty and peace that you hold inside. Right around the corner from that freedom and abundance that you hold. Continue to breathe, warrior. You're almost there. And now breathe in all the way to the top. Breathe in all the way up and hold. All the way up and hold. Hold the breath. Let go of the body. Let go of the mind. Go on that journey within to the center of the universe. The center of you. While holding, let the shoulders fall. Release tension throughout the body. And when you're ready, slowly start to exhale. Notice that feeling as you release the breath and let go of all tension. Sink, settle, surrender to the real you. The power of the entire universe here within you. You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are the one. The creator itself in 3D expression and form. Notice that connection to wholeness, to completion, that knowing and being. Let those feelings travel throughout the body as the nervous system now hands out all of that beautiful programming. Neuromodulators and neurotransmitters, neuropeptides and chemicals being traveled throughout the entire body, healing and regenerating, refreshing and energizing, purifying the system, and settling back to the real you. Enjoy this time with yourself. Recognize the love, the connection to Source, that peace that you've instilled throughout your entire being. While you enjoy the state that you've created, the next breath will be in through the nose and an exhale, sigh with sound through the mouth. Enjoy the feeling that you've created, and I will give you an example as you're in this space. It sounds like this. Creating that sound, allowing the nervous system to be soothed. Breathe in all the way to the top. Breathe in all the way up and hold, all the way up and hold. Let go of tension. Let the shoulders fall. Let that energy sink into your heart. And now through the mouth, exhale all the way out. In through the nose, sigh it out. In through the nose, sigh it out. Breathing all the way in from the belly. Leave the neck and shoulders relaxed. Sigh it out with that sound. I know you feel that intensity in the nasal passages already, activating those nerve endings. Proof that you're connecting to the limbic system, that emotional seat of your consciousness. Continue to breathe in through the nose, sigh it out. In through the nose, sigh it out. Continue to push through. Notice those shifts, those changes that pop up. Notice the body trying to stop you, trying to get you to back down. It's not concerned with your greatness. The body isn't concerned with your potential. You are the captain of this ship. You are the warrior behind the wheel. Continue to breathe, push through for you. You're almost there, warrior. Purifying the system. Engaging those systems to pull in nitric oxide. Elevating those happy hormones with every breath and lowering those stress hormones. Continue to breathe. Truly activating genetic expression inside of the body with every breath. Just a couple more, warrior. Continue to breathe. And now breathe in all the way to the top, all the way up and hold, all the way up and hold. Let your shoulders fall. Hold the breath. Go on that ride. Notice that connection to power, to play, to love. Surrender to the you that has always been. Let go of tension more and more. And when you're ready, slowly start to exhale. Let everything sink, settle, surrender. Notice that wave traveling throughout the body and the mind. refreshing, and revitalizing. Now moving in just a couple times to activate that beautiful pineal gland. Breathe in nice and slow all the way to the top. Breathe in all the way. And now slowly start to exhale. Press out all of your air. And as you press out all of your air, pull in those bottom bathroom muscles like you're restricting the flow of urine. Exhale a little further. Pull in just a little more. Keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Make this about the internal feeling. Inhale, slowly pull the anus, perineum in, belly button in and up. Continue to inhale as you pull those muscles. Inhale, pull those muscles. Inhale, pull those muscles all the way up through the shoulders, all the way through the neck. Hold it at the top. Leave the body alone. Pull those muscles in. Anus, perineum, belly button in, shoulders back and down. Spine straight, pull and pull and pull and pull, in and up and in and up and in and up. Exhale, let it go. Welcome home to the real you. Go big for you. Go all in on this one. Breathe in nice and slow, all the way up. And now slowly start to exhale. As you exhale, pull in those bottom muscles, anus and perineum in, belly button in. Exhale a little further. Pull in just a little bit more. Internal only. Inhale, pull those muscles in as you inhale, pulling that cerebral spinal fluid, pulling the air, the energy. Continue to breathe. Pull those muscles in and up, all the way to the top and hold. And now pull and pull, contract and pull and pull. Internal only, anus, perineum, belly button in, shoulders back and down. Pull and pull and pull and pull and pull. Exhale, let it go. Welcome to the real you. Notice the feelings that you've created. Tune in to that feeling of overwhelming peace, contentment, and love. Notice any colors or patterns. All information being downloaded and processed from source. Notice that wave of energy traveling through the body from the forehead to your toes. Refreshing and energizing. And hold on to this feeling that you've created, this peace that you have in this moment. And remember, above all else, that this was your creation. I merely got to be the guide. Tune in to that power that you hold, to the ability and potential that you have to shift on a moment's notice. Allow this to be your entire day. Carry what you have found with you everywhere you go. And very slowly, start to bring all that you found back into this room, back into a refreshed, and revitalized body. Take your time, allowing yourself to come back into the body. You can wiggle your fingers, you can wiggle your toes, maybe roll your wrists and ankles, little pops and cracks, releasing that excess nitrogen in the joints. Take your hands with your fingers closed and place them over your eyes. Open your eyes behind your hands and very slowly start to separate your fingers, slowly allowing the light to come in so as not to shock your nervous system. And welcome back. Take a moment and just tune in to everything that you've created, to everything that you feel. And remember that you made this shift. You created this moment. At any point in time, come back to the breath and make your world what you will. Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure and honor to share this space with you. I hope you have the most amazing day. Make it an amazing life, warriors.
Thank you, Leland, for taking us through that powerful breathwork session. Since you've gotten to see firsthand the impact that this work has had on the lives of the veteran community, you can imagine we get inquiries about this program all the time from veterans and people who love them. Give to Give Foundation is eager to expand Operation Resilience to support as many members of the military as we can. That's why I'm excited to announce an ambitious new fundraising goal for this program to raise $400,000 this year and bring at least 4 times as many veterans through this life-changing program in 2024. Our goal is to bring this program to enough vets to create momentum in their communities that inspires lasting change. If you'd like to donate to our goal, you can follow the QR code to our fundraising page. We are powerful alone, but unstoppable together, and so grateful for the support of our donors that make events like Nashville possible. Thank you to everyone who joined us this afternoon, and have a great rest of your evening.